There's a new delay pedal in town. It's called the Dystopia from Anasounds. It's dirty, it's evil, it's got modulation and a sequencer, and it sounds like this. I had so much fun making that track with this pedal, and the one thing I will say about the Dystopia right off the bat is that it's extremely inspiring and it makes you want to play. But there are lots of knobs and switches, so let's quickly run over what each one does. Let's start at the top of the pedal. We've got our mix knob. All the way left gives us only dry signal, no repeats, and then all the way right gives us only wet signal and no original guitar. Moving over is the feedback, that's how many repeats we get, and then the time, the distance in between those repeats, which you can also set using the tap tempo foot switch. And the time range is from 80 milliseconds to 1 second. Moving down, we've got the subdivisions switch and then a tone knob for the tone of the delays. The preamp switch is also at 3 position. All the way to the left is the preamp off. In the middle is the preamp on with the delays, and then that is always on for the preamp. And you can see the rather cool knob light up. I didn't know it did that. And then this is how much gain you have on tap. Spoiler, it's quite a lot. In the middle, the bread knob, or the pain knob for non-French speaking people, is the modulation. We've got here the tape delay effect, giving us tape delay modulation. Then we've got vibrato, which is a bit more extreme. And then over there is lo-fi. And finally, we've got ring modulation. You might also notice the Anasounds logo is freaking out because it is pulsating with the frequency of the modulation, which is brilliant. There's also a sequencer built in, but I'll go over that in a little bit because it requires a little bit more attention, and I want to play the pedal and show you how it sounds. So here are my top 5 tones. I thought I'd start with something pretty tame, so nowhere near shoegaze territory, which is why I chose the 𝗦𝗨𝗣𝗣𝗪𝗥𝗧 because it's the least shoegaze guitar I have. And by the way, the Dystopia is going through the effects loop of my amp switcher, and I'm currently using the Blackstar 𝗬𝗛𝗪34, the St. James one, and that's clean. So all of the grit you're hearing is coming from the Dystopia. And that sound reminds me of kind of like an effects chain that you would normally need several pedals to achieve that sound. But the Dystopia is doing it all. Let's move on to another one, which is a bit more wacky. So, I wanted to see how it handled riffs with a kind of wacky setting. And for that, I had to turn the repeats quite low because I wanted to sort of call an answer from the original guitar and then the answer from the pedal. And that was weird as a player because I had to really minimize what I was playing. And that riff, I would normally add in lots of ghost notes and some, some chunking. And with this pedal, it made me play differently, which again adds to the creativity. I love this pedal. Let's carry on. Let's do something really crazy. So an evil sound from an evil pedal and an evil guitar. And I really enjoyed how the distortion of the preamp was handling those low octave chords. So I was just playing octaves and then just letting those notes fall over each other, which is really weird to do with one pedal. Normally I'd be setting up a delay and a distortion before or 2 distortions, one before, one after the delay. And it's really fun to be able to do it in one pedal. And it's intuitive. So doing that was simple. But what I want to do now is take it in the other direction and go fairly pleasant and play something that that my mum might like. There you are, Mum. Something edgy, beautiful, ugly beautiful. We'll call it ugly beautiful because it's a nice sort of simple finger-picking-y pattern, but there's that edge of hair, that little fuzzy fizziness, and the modulation that makes it interesting. And that could have been super clean, it could have been on a Strat, it could have been John Mayer style, but I love the fact that it's not. So it was more creative for me. But let's go drop tuning. Let's go drop C and smack a guitar about. Oh, you poor little Jaguar. This gets beaten so hard and it loves it. Naughty thing. Yeah, that's kind of... I don't know if that's what Anasounds had in mind when they built the Dystopia, but that's what I had in mind. I was waiting for this combination of this guitar and this pedal. I had it when I first found out that I was getting this to review. And it does not disappoint. There's this feedback loop of, not feedback, but feedback loop of me wanting to make some kind of noise and then it happening. The only thing that's kind of missing for me for that is loads and loads of reverb. So Anasounds have a spring reverb as well. If I put that on there, that would really be something. Maybe I'll do that as a later date for a short or a reel or something. But yeah, that was a nasty, nasty sound from a nasty, naughty guitar. I've changed to this 𝗦𝗨𝗥𝗧 because I want to show you the preamp on its own. So with the pedal bypassed, the preamp is still on. So this is minimum preamp. I know you can't see it, but there's a little notch just there, look. So that's where it is at the moment. So just as a kind of fizzy drive, it's doing a pretty good job of that. Yeah, wouldn't be my go-to drive, but in context of the pedal, works beautifully. Even though the Dystopia is evil and weird and nasty and distorted, you can also use it clean and without any modulations. That's why I've got this Telecaster for some slapback delay. So yes, as well as evil apocalyptic soundscapes, it can do clean slapback delay and be a drive pedal on its own. There's one more thing it can do. It's got a sequencer. Let's take a look at that. So to enter sequencer mode, you hold down both foot switches, that A will blink and then completely light up. Then this switch becomes a preset switch. So we've got preset 1, 2, or 3. Let's go to 1. And you can set up to 4 steps of the sequencer with the pane or bread knob. So I'm going to set it on 1, so it's on the tape at the moment, which is step 1. Then I'm going to put the time about there. Then set it to step 2, I'm going to put it big and wide. Then step 3, we're going to go super short. And then step 4, somewhere in the middle. Yeah. It can do that. So this is a metal enclosure, but it's got a wooden faceplate on it. And Anasounds have said that, of course, over the years of you playing all those wonderful gigs in stadiums, you know, you're gonna sweat on it, and then if there's the occasional small bar gig, you might spill some beer on it, and that's going to age beautifully. And I love that idea. I don't think we're yet in the age of relict pedals being a thing, but for any pedal that is going to look nice, sort of roughed up a little bit, it's going to be this one because it's wooden. Yeah, so I think it's beautiful. It's a beautiful looking pedal. Let's do a compliment sandwich. So here comes the thing I don't like. If you look at the A, that should be flashing or pulsating, sorry, with the modulation. But with the modulation turned off, you can still see something coming through the A from the tap tempo. If you turn the pedal on, you can still see the A from there. So what I would have liked is if they could have somehow compartmentalized the A inside by, I don't know, putting a mirror inside or some sort of thing to keep the A clean. There's some light pollution is what I'm trying to say. So that's my thing that I don't like. Now, compliment sandwich. The positive thing, yes. The knobs. These are an absolute joy and they scream quality. So some knobs, you turn them and you think, oh, that might last 10 weeks or something, 10 minutes. These, that's like, wow. That reminds me of my friend's dad's hi-fi system that we weren't allowed to touch when we were growing up. And we did. So yeah, that's how that feels. It's smooth and resistive. Maybe weird if you're not into that kind of thing, but that's one of the things that I test for quality. Same with the switches. And I love the way the light comes on the preamp knob as well. I think that's brilliant. And I'm so surprised I didn't notice it did that until making the video. I've actually missed out a bit of the story because there's another pedal in this series. So these two pedals come from the 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗥𝗧 series. This being the 𝗬𝗢𝗨𝗪 Deluxe and nice and clean. It has a knob called Bliss rather than Bread. And a preamp that is clean and pristine. And this is the dirty, nasty, ugly one. Actually, I have a dedicated review video for this, and it's either coming soon or on the channel already, due to the way that time works. But spoiler, it's also extremely beautiful. Well, not just beautiful, and inspiring. And I've made the demo track already, and it was so fun to make music with. So look forward to that. Or you've already seen that first, you know, due to the way that, again, time works. But back to the Dystopia. Who is this pedal for? Well, if you like making music alone and you don't have any friends to be in a band with, then this is one of those perfect pedals. If you produce music, then the Dystopia is a must-have, because even though you could achieve similar sounds with a selection of different pedals, maybe 3 or 4 pedals, the Dystopia enables you to get those sounds quickly and simply and have fun while you're doing it. And for me, that's why it's the must-have. Not necessarily the fact that you can do all that stuff, but you can do it simply and have a good time while you're doing it. Ultimately, the Dystopia is a very special pedal, and it's fun to use, and it's limited edition. And because it's limited edition, let's talk about the price. €349, which is not a small amount of money, but it's designed and hand-built in France. And as I said, it's one box that does all these things. So yeah, if you like the sounds and the look and all that, and you feel like making some music that fills an entire sonic palette, then run, don't walk to the link in the video description and pre-order and order your Dystopia now. Oh, it went all kind of telemarketing then. Right, there is a button just there that you can click to subscribe to the channel, which means you'll get more from me. And there's a comment section so you can let me know what you think of the Anasounds Dystopia. Thank you to Anasounds for sending it out, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!